Welcome to Algebra 1. The learning goal for this episode is to learn the vocabulary associated with polynomials and how to add and subtract polynomials. First, some necessary vocabulary. A monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. For example, each of these is a monomial. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables of a monomial. The degree of a non-zero constant is 0, and 0 itself is considered not to have any degree at all. For example, 7 has degree 0, so it doesn't have any variables. 3x has degree of 1 since it has x to the first power. 5x squared has degree 2 since it has x to the second power. And 10x cubed y squared z has degree 6, which is the sum of its exponents. A polynomial is either a monomial or a sum of monomials, with each monomial in the sum called a term of the polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of any one of its terms. For example, this polynomial has 5 terms in it and has degree of 4, since 4 is the greatest degree of each of its component monomials. A polynomial with 2 terms gets a special name of binomial, and one with 3 terms is called a trinomial. Let's look at some examples. We want to classify this polynomial according to its number of terms and its degree. Since this polynomial has 3 terms, it's a trinomial, and it has degree 2 because that's the largest degree of any one of its terms. In this example, we're going to learn how to add 2 polynomials together. First, we group together like terms. Recall that to be like terms, each term must have the exact same variable component. In this case, we have some like terms that have x cubed in them, and some like terms with just x to the first power in them. We can then combine the 3x cubed and 8x cubed to get 11x cubed, and the negative x and 3x to get 2x, which gives us our sum, 11x cubed plus 4x squared plus 2x minus 4. We typically write polynomials in descending order, which means we put the largest power of the variable first, then the next largest, and so on. We continue to descend until we either get to the smallest power of the variable or a constant with no variable at all. Here's another example of finding the sum. Again, we're going to group together like terms and then combine them. In this case, we can combine 2 terms that had x squared in them, the negative 3x squared and the 5x squared, which gives us 2x squared, and then our 2 constants, negative 6 and negative 8, which gives us negative 14. So the sum of these 2 polynomials is 9x to the 4th plus 8x cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x minus 14. Again, it's in descending order. Example 4 is now finding the difference of 2 polynomials. That means we're subtracting the second one. It's going to work pretty much the same way as addition. We just need to make sure that we add the opposite since it's subtraction, which means we're going to need to distribute that negative sign through the entire second polynomial. I've indicated the sign changes in red to make it more clear exactly what changed when we distributed the negative sign. Once again, we're grouping together the like terms and then we'll combine them. The 8x cubed minus the 6x cubed gives me 2x cubed. The 5x minus 3x gives me 2x, and the negative 6 plus 4 gives me negative 2. The 2x squared didn't have any like terms to combine with it. Now for our guided practice section. We're going to work through some problems together. You do not need to write down these problems, just step through them with me. At each step, I'm going to prompt you with the question you should be asking yourself, then I'll pause for about 5 seconds for you to think about it and answer it for yourself. Then I'll show you. So for this problem, our first question is, what are we trying to do here? What we're trying to do is classify this polynomial according to the number of terms and its degree. So how do we do that? We do that by counting the terms. In this case, 3, so it's a trinomial. Then we look at the degree of each term and pick the largest. In this case, negative 8x cubed has a degree of 3, so the polynomial also has a degree of 3. Let's try another one. This time we want to find the sum of 2 polynomials. So what do we do first? We group together like terms. Now what? Now we combine together like terms to get our answer. In this case, we could combine the 9x to the fourth plus the 12x to the fourth to get 21x to the fourth, the negative 3x squared plus 2x squared to get negative x squared, and the 7 plus 6 to get 13. The other terms didn't have any like terms to combine with, so they stay the same. And we write our answer in descending order. In guided practice number 3, we were finding the difference of two polynomials, so we need to subtract the second one from the first one. So what do we do first? We think of subtraction as adding the opposite, so we need to distribute that negative sign throughout that entire second parentheses, and then group like terms together. So what do we do next? We combine like terms to get our answer written in descending order. Now for the self-check section. In this section, you're going to physically pause the video as you work out the problem on paper in your notebook. Then you'll press play to check to see how you did. You'll have 5 seconds to pause the video after I stop speaking before I show you the solution. Please pause the video now and work out the problem, then press play to check. Here's the solution. Please compare this to your work. Pause the video here if you need more time to compare, then press play again to move to the next problem. Same thing on this problem. Pause the video, write down the problem and work it out in your notebook, then press play to check. Please pause the video now. Here's the solution. Again, pause the video if you need more time to compare this to your work. Same thing in this problem. Pause the video, write it down in your notebook, and work it out, then press play to check. Please pause the video now. Here's the solution. Again, pause this video if you need more time to compare this to your own work. In closing, let's review our learning goal. We wanted to learn the vocabulary associated with polynomials and how to add and subtract them. We did that by learning the terms monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial, and degree. We then added and subtracted polynomials by grouping together and combining like terms. When we subtracted, we were careful to distribute the negative sign through the entire second polynomial.